The brain is the most powerful tool humankind will ever have. For how easily it can be broken, it is remarkably difficult to be fixed. Meanwhile, as the brain is broken, it creates a story that can never be forgotten. Together we will capture these stories and share them with the world to relate and connect on real life battles. Join me as we enter into the darkest times of people's lives. I'm Jimmy Boyd, and this is Shattered Minds. I took 50 pills. I had been struggling with suicide attempts for many years, but my most serious suicide attempt taught me some pretty big life lessons. It was December 2016, and I was going through a really weird depressive episode that lasted about 2 weeks. I had been prescribed an antipsychotic, and I started having some pretty bad side effects. I was literally sleeping all day, every day, to the point where I had hardly any social contact with anyone else because I could not stop sleeping. I quit watching TV. I wasn't on Facebook at all. And if I remember correctly, I was barely eating. I think I was only eating maybe one meal a day, and when it was dinner time and my parents were having to cook food for me because I had no energy. I remember when I tried to take a bath because I literally didn't have any energy to even stand up in the shower, and I felt like I was dragging myself into the bathtub. I just remember laying in the bathtub and crying because I felt so lonely. I felt so exhausted, and I lost total interest in all of my hobbies. It was incredibly frustrating because I had told the doctor I was seeing at the time that I wasn't doing well at all, and he just insisted that I keep taking the medication. Then my mom noticed how bad I was doing, and she wanted me to stop taking it. She even came with me to my appointment, and she tried to tell him what was going on, but he kept insisting that I keep taking it, and that it was because I wasn't manic anymore, and that this was the real me, and that I just needed to wait because I might start to feel better on the medication. My mom and I were pretty frustrated at that point because we both knew that I wasn't doing so well. So I felt stuck. Not long after I saw my doctor, I pretty much lost it. The loneliness was driving me absolutely insane, and the depression was just killing me. I desperately wanted a way out, so I took a lot of Tylenol one night. I'm not 100% sure how much I exactly took, but I think it was roughly around 50 pills. And every single pill was 500 milligrams each. I remember being so sure that I wanted to die, but then later that night, I changed my mind. I wanted to live. I remember feeling too scared to tell my mom about what happened, so I tried to get a hold of a family friend, and luckily, she answered me. She was so cool about it that she stayed on the phone with me while I told my mom. To be honest, if that family friend had not picked up the phone, I don't know if I would have told my mom about what was going on that night. So anyhow, when I told my mom, she took me to the hospital at 2 a.m, I think. So there I am, laying in this hospital bed, and the doctor comes in and asks me how much I took, and I told him that I thought I took about 50 pills. He had a concerned look on his face and said that I was probably going to have to go on dialysis because my liver and kidneys were failing. It's amazing how quickly I went from thinking, I want to die so bad, to, it wasn't worth it. It's just amazing how my mind changed with an instant when he said that. So here I am, 19 years old, and not really knowing what my future was going to look like. I felt like my life was over at that point. But luckily the doctor came back after calling the poison control, and they told him that because I came to the ER soon enough, that I was probably going to be okay. So to make a long story short, I had a lot of blood work done. I was only in the ICU for 2 days, and holy shit, I had my blood drawn so many times. I was so sick of it towards the end of my hospital stay. It kinda sucked, to be honest, but they had to do it to check my liver enzymes because my liver enzymes were too high when I was first admitted. I also had to have an IV to flush out all that Tylenol crap out of my system, so that kinda sucked. And then I had to take a potassium pill because they found out through my blood work that my potassium was super low. So I had to take a giant horse pill to help with my potassium. And they had to put potassium in my IV. So yeah, my potassium was super, super low. It might have been part of what was causing my depressive episode. I also had to take this special medicine that they put in my IV to help reverse my liver failure, but I can't remember what it was called. Anyhow, the experience was traumatizing for many different reasons. More reasons than I'm willing to list, because there are so many reasons why it traumatized me. One of the reasons why it was so traumatizing was because I felt like my life flashed before my eyes. I was facing the possibility of having to go into kidney and liver dialysis. I had no idea what my future held in those moments, and it was a life-changing experience for me. It's been 3 years since that happened, and I'm in a much better place. I quit seeing that dumbass doctor because he was a terrible listener, and I felt like he didn't take my concerns serious, and I moved on with my life. I honestly feel like my life has gotten much better since I last overdosed. Are there still days that I feel like I want to die? Yes. There are countless days where I feel like I'm in utter hell and there is no escape. In those moments I feel like I can't do it, that I won't survive, and that I'm a fool for thinking that my life could get better. But I have chosen to keep going. I have chosen to keep living this life. I don't even totally understand why I keep pushing through this depression, through this anxiety, through these suicidal thoughts. But I just keep doing it. And I feel like maybe it's just out of the hope that one day I will be able to help someone else through their suicidal attempts, through their pain, through their suffering. And if I can do that, then I feel like my life has been worth living. Even though it's so incredibly painful, I hope that my story will be able to help someone out there, somehow. Because suicide attempts can put you at risk for life-changing health complications. Please don't do it. Seek help. Seek healing. Just do whatever you can do to keep going. This is the end of story. I took 50 pills. This message is for anyone watching this video. I would like to say that depression can be so gut-wrenching to deal with. It's a pain like no other you will ever feel in your lifetime. Some say that the scariest place you can ever be is in your own mind. The mind is just too powerful sometimes, and can cause us to feel a certain way even if we do not ask for it. It's important to pay attention to your feelings, and know when something doesn't feel right, to reach out for others. You are not alone. I would also like to say, it's so unfortunate that you had to endure these terrible events and such low-class support. You definitely deserved, and do presently deserve, better. It always hurts to feel misunderstood or mistreated, when sometimes all we need is some extra love and support. I'm happy that you made it through these events, and that you're able to share your story today with the rest of the world. People like you are advocates to help others, and give hope to the world for all who endure these same experiences. I speak highly of those who are willing to make a change for others, when they themselves have lost so much already. takes a lot to tell a story such as this. And this kind of story, I know, will impact the world. And one day, this may save the life of another. If you know someone who is contemplating suicide, please know that you are not alone. You are loved. You are cared for. People are here for you. You can find help at the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. Call the number on your screen. People are here available to speak to you at any time. You can also visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. And please remember once again, you are not alone. Thank you for watching.